All right, beautiful people of Central Texas, Joe Olivares, your favorite real estate advisor, Olivares Realty Group, JPAR Real Estate. It is Thursday, February 22nd, and I'm coming to you with another video. This one here, we're going to talk about commissions. We're going to talk about commissions. That is a hot topic right now in the real estate industry nationwide, not just in Texas. And I have some urban myths, urban legends about commissions, and I am going to set the record straight for you, whether you are a buyer or you are a home seller. There are things that you need to be aware of. And here at the Olivares Realty Group of JPAR Real Estate, we make it a point of being as transparent as possible with our clients. That is what got us this here. Let me turn this back around here. Boom. Look at that. Ruby Circle of Excellence 2023 Olivares Realty Group for exceeding expectations in real estate sales. This was an award that was given to my realty group by our broker, JPAR Real Estate. And we are very excited. It's the second year that we get this award. Last year, I got it as a single agent. And I have since then started my own team. And this year, we won it as a collaborative. That's a tough word. We won it together as a team. How about that? So anyways, very excited for that. Big things coming for 2024 for the Olivares Realty Group of JPAR. But right now, let's get back to the topic of commissions. Commissions are a hot topic right now in the real estate world, like I said earlier. And a lot of agents, I've been hearing from folks that I've been talking to, clients that I have in my pipeline, home buyers and home sellers. And comment that I heard not too long ago was my agent didn't tell me that. And I said, okay, that is part of their job is to be fully transparent and disclose everything, especially how commissions are paid. Because at the end of the day, that's how we make a living as agents. We get paid when we sell your house. The buying agent representing a buyer, they get paid when they bring a buyer to buy your house. And the question is, how do commissions get paid? Who pays for them? Where does that money come from? And so we're going to break that down for you right now. And this is probably going to ruffle some feathers with some other agents out there, because they're not very um, they might not be very forthcoming with information like this. They're not very forthcoming with being transparent and just full disclosure of what's going on. A good agent should never, ever steer their client to avoid houses that don't pay enough commission to that agent and only focus on homes that do pay enough commission to that agent. That's the one thing that I'm trying to uh, emphasize here is that commissions are negotiable. Whether I'm representing the home seller or I'm representing the home buyer. All right, so just hypothetically speaking here, you give me a call, 254-913-5734. You're like, hey, Mr. Joe, we saw your Google business page. We love the reviews there. We saw your profile on Zillow. You're a premier agent with them. We love those reviews as well. And we'd really like to sit down and talk to you and discuss the selling of our home. And so the next thing we do is Mr. Joe here, Olivares, will go ahead and set a time and a date, and we'll come over to your house and we sit down and we talk about it. I will bring with me all of my material to show you what it is that I can do, along with my team of agents, to market your house to the fullest potential so that we can generate the most income out of it when we go to sell it. So now, in the process of our conversation, we're going to have a little discussion and we're going to talk and touch on the subject of commissions. Okay. So I'm going to say to you, okay, Mr. Home Seller, this is what I can do for you. Professional photography, marketing, we're going to have exposure on several online sites. The exposure is going to be tremendous between myself and my team. We have over 10,000 followers on social media and all of our platforms. So you're automatically going to get all this exposure for your house that is going to really drive interest. And we're going to hit this thing, we're going to hit it running. As soon as we get going, it's going to be off and running. In order for us to do that, here is my fee. This is what I require. This is my fee for me to get paid for me to do this service for you. All right. So let's just throw a number out there. Let's just say I say, my fee is 5%. All right. My fee is 5%. And of the sales price, whatever your home sells for, I'm going to get 5% for doing my job. Home seller says, great, perfect. We're okay with that. The next conversation, still regarding commissions, is going to be, however, Mr. Home Seller, if there is a buyer's agent on the other side, in other words, another agent brings a buyer capable, fully willing, ready to buy your home, that agent needs to get compensated as well. I'm charging you 5% to do this service for you. I don't mind sharing some of my commission, some of that 5%, with this other agent that brought the buyer. Is that okay with you? So now the home seller says, okay, we're okay with that. That's your commission. We've agreed to pay you whatever you want to do with that. That is your deal. That is your business. We just want our home sold. All right. Excellent. So now what happens is, with the house on the market, gets listed in the MLS, social media, Instagram, TikTok, all of our social media platforms, they just get to rolling. The buzz gets going, open house. We start flyers hitting the neighborhood, letting your neighbors know your house is for sale. If they know somebody that wants looking to buy, send them our way. Let's say that there's another agent involved on the other side that's bringing the buyer. Well, I have agreed ahead of time, and you have consented as the home seller to allow me to split some of my commission, that 5%, with this other agent. Okay. So let's say that I have decided, hey, we're going to split that half and half. So 2.5 for me, 2.5 for you. That's the 5%. So now that agent knows already up front, because I have disclosed that in all of our social media posts and all of our marketing in the MLS. I've disclosed this listing pays 2.5% to a buyer's agent. If they're to any agent that brings me a buyer, you're going to get 2.5%. So they already know up front. Now, what happens is, let's say, for example, a homeowner says, hey, I'm only willing to pay 3%. That's all I'm willing to pay is 3%. I said, okay, I will take your listing, I will take your home, and I will list it for you for sale at a commission rate of 3%. That's all I'm making. So now, Mr. Home Seller, I work as a real estate agent for a living. This is how I make my living. So the amount that I can now share with another agent, if they were to bring a buyer, has been greatly reduced. And a lot of agents have a minimum. A lot of agents, whether they're representing the buyer or they're representing the seller, they have a minimum of how much they were willing to work for. Okay. Just like your doctor does, just like your lawyer does, just like your mechanic. You go to a mechanic, hey, can you check out my car? Minimum is going to be $250 for a diagnostic, just to find out what's wrong with it. It's $250. Everybody has a minimum. Doesn't matter what service you're in. If you're a service provider, there is a minimum. Okay. It's not a standard. It's not set in stone, but everybody does have a minimum, and it varies by agent. Okay. So there might be an agent on the other side bringing a buyer that says, I have a buyer. We went and we saw the house. We love it. They want to put an offer in. However, your listing is only offering me 1%. And the reason for that is because I'm only making 3, the home seller, Mr. Home Seller, you only agreed, or agreed to pay me 3%. So I'm going to share at least 1% with the other agent. You know, I want to keep at least 2 because I want to feed and pay my bills too. I want to feed my family and pay my bills. So the other agent might have a minimum of 2% as well. His minimum might be 3%. So now he's going to tell his buyers, hey, this home that we went and we saw, it only pays 1%. I work on a minimum of 2%, 3%, whatever it is for that agent. Are you, Mr. Buyer, willing to pay me the difference of what I'm making on this listing here to bring me up to my minimum of whatever percent it is for that agent? And a lot of times buyers don't have that kind of money. They don't have that cash available. They're, maybe barely getting in, getting financed, getting qualified. Hey, we have enough for closing, and that's about it. We don't have anything else. And they can't pay that buyer's agent. Now, there could be some buyers that have no problem. Some buyers might be able to say, hey, I got you. Don't worry about it. I'll bring you back. Whatever they're giving 1% and your minimum is 2, I'll give you another 1%, you know, uh, that'll be, and that'll get you up to your 2%. Okay, we're good and go. Not many buyers are going to be able to do that. In my experience, not many at all. Two things are going to happen. Number one, either that buyer's agent is going to go ahead and proceed with the deal, knowing he's only going to get 1%, or he's going to decide, I'm not going to do it for that amount of money. It's not worth my time, whatever their excuse, whatever the reason is, they might decide not to go along with it. Okay. So part of the listing agreement, as a listing agent, when I go and meet with a home seller, is I explain this to them. Um, the commission, this is how it works. Okay. Depending on how much you're willing to pay me is going to determine how much I can then effectively contribute, cooperate with another agent that's bringing a buyer. Okay. Now, on the buyer side, whenever I meet with a home buyer, same conversation goes through. Hey, Mr. Joe, we saw your reviews on Google. We love your reviews. You're doing great. Everybody raves about you. We've seen your social media. We've seen your Facebook page, Joe Olivares Real Estate Advisor, Olivares Realty Group on Facebook. We follow you on TikTok, on Instagram. We know exactly what's going on. We love how you do it. We want you to represent us. We're looking for a house, blah, 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 so many bedrooms, and all that good stuff. Okay. We go and we meet. We sit down to talk. When we're signing what is called a buyer representation agreement, buyer rep agreement, we're also going to notate on there's a section in there that discusses commissions. Now, in that commission field, we're going to put in there the buyer's agent. This time I am referring to myself. I was going to refer to myself as the agent. I'm representing the buyer. We're going to say, Mr. Home Buyer, here's the agreement. You agree for me to be your representing you in this sale, in this transaction when we find you a house. So I'm going to find you a house. You tell me what you're looking for. I'm going to send you homes. You can review them. If you find something that you like, let me know. I'll set up the showing. If it's something you want to go with, I'll write up the offer, negotiate on your behalf, everything. I'm working for you. Okay. However, this is my minimum that I work for. Just going to throw a number out there. I work for 2%. I work for 2.5%. I work for 3%, whatever. Some buyers agents, I work for 4%, whatever it is, right? So I want to say I work for 2%. Okay. Mr. Home Buyer, when I see homes that I feel and I know are matching and checking off every box that you've told me on your criteria for a home search. However, it does not pay me 2%. It only pays 1%. Some of them might not pay anything. Are you willing to pay me that 2%? I got to get paid somehow. I'm not doing this for free. This is how I feed my family. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I make a living. The home buyer will now think back, so if you find us a house that checks all the boxes and it's exactly what we're looking for, but doesn't pay you the 2% that you're looking for, you know what? I don't have that kind of cash. I don't have that. Let's just say, for example, it's a $300,000 house, and my minimum is 2%, to work, 2%. And I will negotiate this deal for you, and I'll take care of all the paperwork, and I'll take care of all of that. Get everything up and make sure nothing gets missed. That when you get to the closing table, everything is 100% ready to go. No surprises for you as a home buyer. I require 2%. $300,000 house, 2%. Do the math. That's 6 grand. Okay. Home buyer says, I don't have $6,000 to pay you. And even if that house offered 1%, I don't have 3,000 to pay you. I'm barely have enough for closing costs. I barely have enough for down payment. I barely have enough to get this deal just to get into the house, let alone extra money for that. So then me, as the buyer's agent, I'm going to let them know I understand that, respect that completely. What would you like for me to do? Where do we go from here? Knowing that my minimum is 2%, and some houses may not offer 2%, some may offer more. But this one, let's say, for example, those that do not offer the minimum that I work for, where do we go from here? The home buyer makes the decision. Hey, you know what? I don't have the funds. I can't pay you that extra. I don't have the funds. I can't pay you your 2%. How about we just not worry about those? Just stick with houses that are offering, you know, at least the minimum of what of what you require to make on a deal. The agent is not making the decision. I'm not steering them. I'm just letting them know the facts. This is the way it is. What do you want to do? We do have an obligation to let our clients know this is what we work for. All right. So let's say we find a house. It checks all the boxes, exactly what you're looking for, what you've told me you want: 4 bedroom, 3 bath, four-sided brick, big patio, whatever it is, big yard, pool, whatever it is, right? It matches all the boxes. Okay. However, it does not pay me the minimum of what I work for. It's only paying 1%. I work on 2%. Buyer, Mr. Buyer, now you have the option, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. Hey, we got the other 1%. We'll cover you. $300,000 house, 2% is what you require. All right. That's what you work for. They're only paying you one, which is 3,000. I got the other three for you. I'll bring you up to 6. That's your 2%. Okay. Excellent. Let's go. Write up the offer, get it over to the sellers. They sign. We're under contract. 25, 30 days later, we're at the closing table and we're getting everything rolling. We got keys in your hand. All right. Oh, these allergies. So then, same scenario. Find the house. Perfect. Everything is great. However, it only pays 1%. I work on a, minimum of 2%. And home buyer says, hey, I don't have that. I can't do that. Okay. So now we're going to negotiate. We're going to try to negotiate with the other side and say, hey, um, can you increase that buyer? We call it buyer agency compensation. I'm the buyer's agent, and that's my compensation. Can we increase the buyer's agent compensation to 2% at least? Let's get it from 1, let's get it to 2. And I got a buyer pre-qualified, ready to go right now. You'll have the offer in your hands within the hour. And now it's back on the seller's part. So now we're negotiating. That's where we say commissions are always negotiable, and it should always be that way. It always has been that way. Now, I will tell you a little fact that in the past, not all agents have voiced that appropriately to their clients, whether they're representing the home seller or they're representing the home buyer. We have not done a good job of being transparent and completely being open about how commissions work. Okay. Nobody in real estate is working for free. Nobody. not your buyer's agent, not your seller's agent. Nobody works for free. We're going to get paid. Somehow we're getting paid. All right. What is negotiable is how we get paid and how much we get paid and who is going to pay us. Those three things are negotiable. All right. And if the commission is not there, if the amount of payment to me for my services is not there, I have the right to say, hey, you know what, Mr. Home buyer, I'm not going to be able to help you out on this deal. And then at that point, the home buyer has the option of looking for another realtor that will work for that rate, and or say, hey, I'll find a way. We'll bring you up to your minimum of 2%, whatever it is. But it's always negotiable. Let's go back to the beginning of this discussion that we started. We started with the home seller, how commissions work, who sets the commission. All right. And it's the home seller. The home seller is the one that sets the commission of how much is going to be paid out for their home being sold. Okay. I've sold homes for 5%. I've sold homes for 7%. I've sold homes for 6%. I've sold homes for 4%. Okay. How does that work? It's because of the way I structure my listing agreement with my listing clients, with my home sellers. It's very easy in real estate for real estate agents to get greedy. Let me say that one more time. It's very easy in the real estate world for real estate agents to get greedy. Here at the Olivares Realty Group, myself and my agents, we are not that way, and it's not a culture that I promote. Matter of fact, I am very highly against that kind of culture. This is what I tell, and this is how my agents do it on my team. When we're representing a home seller, we say, Mr. Home Seller, and I'm just going to throw some numbers out there, okay? Um, our minimum to sell your house, and there's another agent involved. Another agent is bringing the buyer. Let's say, for example, our minimum is 5%, and we're going to split that half and half with the other agent that brings a buyer. Okay. However, however, if I secure a buyer, if I can pull a buyer, if I can locate a buyer from my pool of clients, home buyers that I'm working with that are interested in buying your house, now there's no other agent involved on the other side. I'm only going to charge you 4%. There's no need for me to be greedy and charge all five. And that's in my listing agreement. And I'm just throwing numbers out there. That is not set in stone, but that's how I work. It's going to be this rate. If there's an agent involved, bringing the buyer, it's going to be right here. If there's another agent bringing a buyer, and it's going to be here if I can secure the buyer for you, saving you money. At this point, I'm not giving advice to either side. They have to do their own due diligence, their own research. And I'm just shuffling paperwork, passing on information is all I'm doing. Hey, the buyer wants to do this. Are you okay with that? Hey, Mr. Home Seller, the buyer is asking for this. Are you okay? Mr. Buyer, the home seller is saying that they're willing to do this, but not this. Is that okay with you? And all I'm doing is just shuffling information at that point, negotiating the deal between the two. Okay, but I'm not offering advice to either one. Okay, that's called intermediary. So that's where I say I've sold homes for as low as 4%, because at that point I was able to secure a buyer. Okay, and I told my seller that my selling agent client, I said, hey, if I secure the buyer, it's going to be this rate here. But if there's another agent involved bringing a buyer, it's going to have to be here. Are you okay with that? And they say, yes, perfect. Let's go. And then before I leave it, do everything you can, Mr. Joe, to secure the buyer, because I want to save that 12,000. I want to save that $6,000, so whatever it is. Right. And so that's what I try to do. I try to do that for them. Back to the subject of steering. In other words, an agent steering a client. Let's not go look at that house because it doesn't pay me my minimum. And the home buyer is like, well, but I really like the house. Okay. That is a discussion between that buyer's agent and that buyer of how they're going to handle that situation. Okay. Um, what I would do, and I've done in the past, is if there was a home that my clients really wanted, they really wanted the house, I would structure the deal in a manner that was very appealing, very, very appealing to the seller. Let's structure the deal this way and let's get it over to the sellers. And I'm going to call them before I send it over. I'm going to call that listing agent that's representing the seller, and I'm going to let them know, hey, Mr. Listing Agent, I got a buyer, pre-qualified, ready to go. This is what they're offering. However, we would like to negotiate a buyer's agency compensation of 3%, of 2%. And right now, the listing shows 1%. Can you please get our offer over to your seller and show it to them and let them know this is what they're willing to offer if we can get the commission up to 2%, 3%, whatever it is. That's where the negotiation comes into play. Okay. It's not all lost. You have to have agents that are willing to do that. And it's up to you to let that agent know if there's a home that doesn't meet your minimum compensation, don't show it to us. We don't care. We don't want to see it. Send us only those that pay you what you're looking for. And it's up to you to let that agent know if you find a home that doesn't meet your minimum, show it to us. Let's take a look at it. Let's at least try. Here's what I prefer. And this is what I teach my agents here at the Olivares Realty Group. Let's at least try. So at least try to structure the deal. Let's at least try to structure the deal, the offer to the sellers that'll make it appealing for them and will make it easy for them to say, yeah, let's increase it. Let's increase it because this is a good deal. This is a good deal for everybody. So let's increase it. And that's how I train my agents. That's what we practice here at the Olivares Realty Group. We don't steer our clients away. What we do is we work with them to get that deal going. Okay. And then at the end of the day, if it falls through, it falls through. But we tried. We tried. That is our job as agents, is to try to get our clients, whether you're representing the seller or you're representing the buyer, our job as agents is to get our clients the best deal possible. Their interest first over ours. My minimum was this. The house that we were looking at offers this, but I'm still going to work for my clients to try and negotiate to where we can get up at the same level. All right. If you don't have an agent like that working for you, I highly suggest you shop around. There's other agents out there that do work like that do have that mindset, that do have that mentality. And not only that, there's agents out there, me being one of them, my team being one of them, where we have the knowledge and the experience to negotiate those deals. We have the knowledge and the experience to negotiate those deals on your behalf. So why not give us a try? Why not give us a call, 254-913-5734. A lot of information right there, very confusing sometimes. I try to break it down as much as I could. In the video edit that I do, I'm going to try and get it as organized as possible so that it makes sense to you. If you have any questions, give me a call. 254-913-5734. Joe Olivares, your favorite real estate advisor, JPAR Real Estate. And the name of my team is the Olivares Realty Group. We service Temple, Belton, Killeen, Harker Heights, Killeen, Salado, Troy, all up and down the I-35, I-14 corridor. That's our stomping grounds, and that's where we help folks buy and sell homes. Give us a call.